Alright. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's see. Like siblings. Give me a second, okay? I'm just feeling something out. Bismillah, Bismillah. Okay, sorry, I was trying to figure out something that we can't figure it out. Okay, it's okay. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ونور قلوبنا آله وصحبه أجمعين. نوينا تعلم وتعليم وتذكر والتذكر والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم ودعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علم الدنيا ومشرب الصافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب الصافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صافي الهاني يا وهاب يا غني. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين 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 يا رب العالمين. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله بسم الله. Okay. Um, and this ayat of this verse in the Quran. Right? So what the Habib does, so what Habib does is that he actually he pulls out verses from the Quran, right, and then he goes to the tafsir of these verses. So we're actually there. And we're right there. Right, in the tafsir of these verses. Okay, so we are right. So last week we spoke about qawwamun, right? الرجال قوامون على النساء. So basically, he quotes the entire verse all together, and then he goes to the verse line by line, right? As he expands on it, right? So I think last week, right, we were right at the place whereby women are grouped, right? Women are grouped, right? So into two groups. The first group, which inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of them, right? الصالحات فالصالحات والقانتات الحافظات للغيب حافظ. نعم. Okay, so we are so we're going to do this. Okay. Alright, so the two types of women that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions. So the entire verse is really comprehensive. The whole verse, right? So in the Quran, mashallah, it is comprehensive. Right? So the verse begins with the man's responsibility, right, over women, right? So it's not, their power over women, no, but it is their responsibility over women. And if you notice this, if you see this if you study Islam enough, you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never places power with anyone, right? Allah never places power with anyone, only Himself. He is the only one who has power, right? But Allah places responsibility and accountability with people, right? So when human beings, and Allah make human beings a Khalifa on the earth, what does it mean by human beings being the Khalifa on the earth? It means that they are responsible. Allah placed human beings responsible with responsibilities in a manner, like on how to conduct yourself on the earth, right? And to have, and for the well-being of all those who inhabit the earth. And that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to human beings. Right. So so nowhere in the Quran did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give, some form of a full on authority in a way that people of the dunya understand. No, right? But it's always responsibility. It's always responsibility. Leadership is responsibility. Kingship is responsibility. Prophethood is responsibility. It's all responsibility. It's just responsibility. So when someone wants to, take on a role, someone wants to, take a position, in society and so on, that all that you see in front of you is responsibility. SubhanAllah. And I know some people in our society, in our time, right, they'll vie for positions, right? They'll actually vie for positions, right? And really, it's a hadith where Rasulullah said that we don't give this matter to those who ask for it. I mean, subhanAllah, right? Because, in this time, especially in our time, especially, right, those who wanted, they might not be the best, to have it. And in fact, most of the times, right, they don't even understand what it entails, right? And then they want it. Subhanallah. So anyway, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places the responsibility of maintenance, right, on men, right, over women, right? Because why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given men the tools, physical tools, right, the ability, right, to go and support women, right? So بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض, right? By what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given men more than what He has given to women in terms of physical strength, which nobody can deny, right? And then Allah says بما أنفقوا, right? And that they are supposed to, as Allah says in the Quran, they're supposed to be the ones to spend on their women, right? It is on them. So if they don't support their women, they can be held accountable on their judgment. Whereas if a woman does not contribute to the financial needs of the family, she's not held accountable. She's not held accountable on their judgment, but it is from her charity, from her goodwill and charity that she helps out in the finances of the family. Right? But it is always and always and always on the men, right, to handle the finances of the family. Um, and then you can find it in this verse, right? So, and here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Rijal qawwamuna ala nisa, right? Men are caretakers of women. So, not just husbands, but the men, right? The men in the family, right? So, the fathers, the brothers, the uncles, right? And if you really go into the laws of Islam, you'll find that it is always placed on the men in the family, the men around that woman, right? So, whether or not she has a husband or no husband, right, it actually goes back to the men of the family that they are responsible, right, in taking care of the woman in the family. Here's from the verse. Of course, in real life, there are men who are unable, right? There are men who depend on their women, right? But it is just for us to understand that it is not a requirement from the religion on ourselves, right? But it is a form of charity, right? Of their wealth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the types of women, right? فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهِ, right? And those who are the women who are righteous, and those who are obedient, right? Obedient to their husbands, right? Husbands, and those who guard, right, of what Allah subhanahu in secrecy, what Allah subhanahu has guarded. So we're here. Okay, we're here at the disobedience woman, and it speaks specifically about the wife. So here, I mentioned previously why this verse was sent down, right, on the account of one of the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, but just before going into that, we will go into it, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as narrated by Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, خير النساء التي إذا نظرت إليها سرتك، وإذا أمرتها أطاعتك، وإذا غبت عنها حفظتك في نفسها ومالها. That was what we took earlier on in the hadith on such a woman, right? That the best of women, right, in this hadith, right? And then after he said this, he recited this ayat, الرجال قوامون على النساء, to the very end of this ayat, right? So it was here. And this was the hadith I just read. The best of women, right, is the one who, if you look at her, you're pleased with her, right, because she pleases you, mashallah. So it is whether or not you're pleased with her looks, or you're just pleased just seeing her, and many human beings, not just men, human beings, that looks only lasts for a while, right? I mean, in the sense of pleasure, someone's looks, it only lasts for a while, right? It's in good looks. After that is character, right? It's character. It's character that makes someone smile at you. It's character that makes someone look at you lovingly. I know of many people, and say, mashallah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they are very beautiful, in their looks. Right? They know how to look after themselves. They know how to doll themselves up. They know how to, take care of their skin. They know how to, wear, nice things, nice clothes. They know how to, and some people, they're just very good at this kind of stuff. They know how to, just beautify themselves, right? But their character is so awful. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Always frowning, always grumpy, always complaining, always, and she was saying to me, my husband doesn't love me. And then I said to her, I don't, and I see why. I mean, it's obvious, right? You're not pleasant. You're just not a pleasant person, right? Be pleasant. Come on, be pleasant. Be loving. Be lovable, right? Come on. It's not just being beautiful, right? Beauty is only skin deep, literally, right? Right? Beauty is only skin deep. That's all it is. It's only skin deep, right? You want someone to look at you and to love you and they have love in their eyes for you, right? Then, be of service, be lovable, right? Be pleasant, be fun, right? Be someone that they enjoy being around. Subhanallah. If you are someone that your husband, is happy when you're out of the house, you're gonna ask why. Ask yourself, like, why is he always, happy whenever I leave the house? He likes me, you know, out of his sight. Like, why? Why is that? Why is that? But if you're someone whose husband just loves you to be around them all the time, 24/7, alhamdulillah, he's adoring you. Like, he adores you. And men have the ability to adore. Right? And you will see it. You will see it. They have the ability to adore. Right? And so if they're adoring some, if you can see them adoring their daughters, right? They really adore their daughters. And you can see this in them, right? Or they would adore their mothers. Right? They will adore them. They will adore, right? So, and they can adore their wives, right? But the wife needs not to be, foul, and repulsive. So anyway, I said this to her, and she couldn't accept it, but it was true. Like, she was very foul, right, towards her husband. She was being very foul towards her husband. I could see in the way she interacted with him that she was very bossy, she was very cranky, she was very negative, and even used bad words. And really, really, you said, foul language, right? Foul language against her husband, like, who was much older than her. Right? So I was like, I'm not surprised he kind of fell out of love, with you, because you're not lovable. You're actually not lovable. Right? Subhanallah. Allahu Alam, people don't accept it. Right? But mashallah, I've seen people as well on the other end, whereby, and I'm sure all of you have seen them, but they're not the most attractive human beings on the planet. And subhanallah, they're okay looking, or maybe not even attractive at all. I mean, there's no attractiveness to them. But they're so lovable. Like, they're so lovable, they're so pleasant, they're so sweet, they're so kind, the character is so attractive. The character, the character is so attractive, right? And you get pulled towards her. This is what it means by, when you look at her, you are pleased. Right? When you look at her, you are pleased. Right? That she brings happiness to you. Right? She brings happiness to you. And it's not surface, it's not skin deep. It's not superficial, it's not skin deep, right? It's something deeper than that. Right? That you bring happiness to those who are around you. Not just to your husband, to everyone. So as you walk through society, right, with everyone who sees you, right, they love you. Your students, your children, your aunties, your uncles, right? Everyone just, they love you, right? Your mother-in-law, all around you, that you make yourself pleasant, right, and lovable, right, towards people, and become the delight in their life, as how it was for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, if you instruct her, she obeys you, and if you're absent from her, she will guard of your wealth and herself. Then he read the verse as we narrated. So now the second part of the verse, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاللَّاتِ تَخَافُونَ نُشُوزَهُنَّ, right? And those whom you sense or you suspect, right, the ill conduct from them. Okay, so this goes from first, before they even do anything bad, before they even disobey, right? So if you suspect, or men, right, if you sense that your woman is about to do something that's disobedient towards you, right, then advise them first. All right, advise them first. It's a society whereby men are upright and they have their religion, firm in them, right? And women are upright and they have their religion firm in them. It's this kind of society whereby you say it is doesn't exist in our time, right? Whereby women to be upright like this, or women to be upright like this, doesn't exist. Right? People have all kinds of issues, and it is because of the lack of knowledge in the religion, and that's true. And I'm not denying it, okay? But the ayat speaks about a ideal situation, and there's no why in Islam we always speak about ideal situations is for us to work towards it. right, to work towards it. Right? So for us as, mothers, so right now our sons will grow up to be what? To be men, right? Our sons will grow up to be men. They're going to grow up to be husbands, right? So you teach your son how to be a gentleman and how to be a responsible human being, a responsible man, right? You teach him religion, right? So that he knows how to fulfill the rights of others onto him. Right. So it is on the parent right now, parents, right, who has the father and the mother, right, to teach the next generation to be better than them. Right, to be better than them. But unfortunately, of course, you will see that it is a vicious cycle that, that because, their parents were not righteous, they didn't bring up their kids to be righteous, then the kids are not righteous, then they didn't bring up their kids to be righteous, and the cycle continues in that way. Then if you and right now you're studying, right now you're learning, and you here you're on this Zoom, you are learning, you're studying. Try and break the cycle. If you think it's a vicious cycle in your family or in your progeny, in your lineage, then try your very best to break the cycle. Right? Try your very best to do Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to break the cycle. Because really living in a society or in a family whereby people are educated in the religion and really educated. I'm not saying superficially. I'm not saying educated on the surface. No, people might think, oh, but he is religious. But when you look at it, no, he's not. He's just superficial, right? Religious. What does religious mean? Right? Someone who is religious means someone who has akhlaq. Right? That is the definition of religious. Right? They have akhlaq. Akhlaq towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their obedience and submission towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and akhlaq towards the creation, right? In their service, and in their service towards the creation and fulfilling the rights of creation. That is religiosity. That right there is religiosity, right? So don't think that someone does so many prayers, so many fasting, so many zikr and so on and so forth, right? But they have zero akhlaq, right? They have almost they're really they're pathetic in their akhlaq, right? That's not called religiosity. It is not called religiosity at all. When I hear someone, use very foul language, straight away you can cut them out as being religious. They are not religious. Like the moment they use foul language, because foul language is the minimum, and not using foul language is the minimum of good akhlaq. Because you can control your tongue from saying bad stuff, right? Subhanallah. So the moment I've heard, people who are supposedly religious, right, and they use like things really foul words. Yes, you'd be so shocked that the same mouth, same tongue that recites Quran in abundance, at the same tongue is saying all these terrible, filthy words. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Right, so advice to be good, livable woman. First advice to be good, livable woman. Be cheerful all the time. Right, be cheerful all the time, right? And let go of any grievances. Let go. Don't keep. Let go. I always see people who, like, they will post stuff like, beneath the smile is so much whatever turmoil or whatsoever. Let go. Doesn't have to be any turmoil beneath your smile, right? Doesn't have to be. You let go. Right? You let go. Right? So any issues underneath, inside of you, you choose to let go. You're the one who's choosing it to move on, to let go. Right? So be a cheerful person. Right? Be a cheerful person. MashaAllah, I don't know, maybe it's in my name, but I don't know how people can't be cheerful. Like, just be cheerful. We all have problems. We all do. I have my share of problems. I have my share of issues and my share of, everyone, we're in the dunya, we're in the world, right? Don't think you're the only one who has problems, right? Everybody has trauma, everybody has issues, everybody gets abused, everybody gets, everyone gets their fair share of things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fair. Everyone gets it. If you're still in this dunya, you will be afflicted. Right? You will be afflicted. Right? But it's your choice to be a happy person. Right? It's your choice to be a happy person. And it's your choice to, look at these afflictions and build on it. Right? Look at these afflictions and build on it. I should put it in the kids' book, Right? About the story of there's a famous story. It just occurred to me. There's a famous story about a donkey, who the farmer was gonna bury him alive. right? So the donkey, I mean, it's a kid story, but it's a good lesson behind it. The donkey was pushed into the farmer, built, he dug a pit, so things that my mom tells me when I was young. It's kind of stories, because it keeps you positive, right? This morning we spoke of positivity, for Qasida Muhammadiyah, and I really apologize. I just realized I went backwards because I confused it with Dubai. So I went right to the forward, and I think I've gone past all of that. I went right there. Maybe Allah wants someone to hear it. Allahu Alam. But anyway, this donkey, the story goes, right, the farmer digs a huge hole, pit, right, and throws the donkey into the pit. He was going to bury the donkey alive, right, because he doesn't want this donkey anymore. Right, so a donkey at first begins to bray and bray and bray. He was getting very scared. He knows what was happening. So the farmer, he begins to shovel dirt into the pit, right, to bury the donkey alive. And at first, the donkey was crying and crying and crying when he realized what was going on. But after a while, the donkey, whenever any dirt came onto his body, he shook it off. Or he shook it off, and then it fell to the ground, and it made the floor of the pit higher. You build on it. So every single time the farmer would, it's a very famous story. I don't know if you all know the story or not, but I know these stories when I was young. My mom always say this to us because it shows us, with afflictions, you choose to cry there and be weak, or you choose to be stronger and build upon it, right? It's your choice, right? It's what she used to. It's how her tarbiyah of us, she would push us in this way, right? So the donkey, every single time the farmer throws the dirt onto the donkey shakes it off, and he steps on the dirt. And he steps up onto it. And after a while, with all the farmers' work, in trying to bury donkey alive, the donkey actually builds for itself, more and more dirt, right, for it to step onto, and eventually it reaches a height where it could just jump out of the pit and walk away. Right, subhanallah. Right, so anyway, and I love that story. You should put it in the kids' book. Put it in the kids' book. Right, so but I love that story. In a sense, like it just shows you. Right, it just shows you with the you choose to be positive about stuff. Like you choose to be positive about things. And end of the day, the dunya is dunya. It will go, it will pass. It will pass. The dunya will pass. That's it. It will just pass. Right. So ideas on how to be more livable as a wife, as a daughter, as a mother, as a friend, as a sister. Right, first keyword, and we're following our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who is the most livable human being to ever exist. And he is the most afflicted human being to ever exist, right? The most lovable, the most afflicted, right? So the first thing we see about him that made him so lovable, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, is his joyfulness. Right? His joyfulness, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I actually I wrote it down in one of my lines of poetry. It's in the Qasida Muhammadiyah book, right? If you have seen the Qasida Muhammadiyah book at the end of it, right? Now, right, I actually put it there. Let me find that line, right? But basically the line, because the Qasida Muhammadiyah book, right? That I was supposed to teach every Friday morning, but this morning I went so behind. I don't know why I was so confused where we stopped. Hey, but anyway, at the end of the book, the Qasida Muhammadiyah book, you'll find some poetry that I wrote. And in all of this poetry speaks about the difficulties that Rustam went through, right, and what he taught us through this difficulty. And there's a line that I still like my own lines still, right? But anyway, this line I like it because it shows so much about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam here. So the line is here, O Prophet of Tranquility, it must have been truly difficult burying your daughters, including your younger son, deep in the dirt. You chose the life of poverty, hunger, and hardship so that others could eat, O Prophet. Above all that, you are described as the most joyous person one could meet. Right? Be that person. Okay? Be that person. You choose. Be that person. Be this joyous person. Right. So anyway, and I put it like in because after mentioning all the difficulties that he went through, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like he's described as the most joyous person one could meet. And that's the first thing about being lovable. Second thing about being lovable, don't complain. No one likes a complainer. Even complaints like complainants. No one likes a complainer. Subhanallah. I mean, I know she have this line, right? But she have that. I mean, he was saying that nobody likes complainers. No one. Subhanallah. Right. I mean, just laugh things off. Seriously, laugh things off. And it's the thing that we learn again from our Prophet alaihi wasallam, right? While they were in so much stress, digging the ditch. I think I'm doing like a serial lesson right now, but I'm gonna come back to this thing because of the question of how to be lovable. And there's only one human being that comes to my mind when I think of being lovable, and that's our beloved Prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He's so lovable that he's even lovable to those who live 1,400 years after him. How lovable is that? MashaAllah, right? I mean, till the end of time, he's going to be lovable. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Right? I mean, subhanAllah. So we want to learn how to be lovable. Use like one person, this one individual, and look at how lovable he is. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And I give so many examples from his life and also from his married life and how lovable he was. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And also, I want to go give the pair to that, who is Sayyidah Khadija. Okay, this description of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam right here, that is Sayyidah Khadija. That is Sayyidah Khadija. Like he would beam. He would be so happy when she walked into the room. Be that wife. Sayyidah Khadija put the status so high, mashallah. But be that wife. Then when you walk into the room and your husband looks at you and you can see this happiness, in his face that you came, that you're there, that you're home. Like when you come home and he's like, you're home. Subhanallah, like be that person, be that person. So anyway, like Rasulullah in stressful situations, he would make light of it. Like in the Khandaq, he began to sing with the companions. And when he saw they were also stressed out and they were digging the Khandaq, digging the trench, and it was so tiring and it was cold weather and they were hungry and they were starving. Right? And then he just, he began to sing, Allahumma la aisha illa aishul akhirah, faghfir lil ansari wal muhajira. Right? Muhajira. Right? And they began to join the song. نحن الذين بايعوا محمدا في الجهاد ما بقينا أبدا. Right? I mean, this is what they were singing to brace their spirits. Right? While they were doing the khandaq, cheerfulness. Raising other people's spirits, not complaining. Okay, not complaining, always smiling. And then number three, I'll give you three things up on that. Right, number three is to use good language. Right. I don't know. I get so put off when I hear anyone use foul language. I really cannot stand it. I cannot stand it. Right. And I don't know how you expect to be loved if you're always so foul-mouthed. Right. Use good language. Just use good language. Right. It really matters, how to use good language. I think nowadays people don't know how to speak anymore. Right? They just, I don't know, like what's happening to human beings? They don't know how to speak anymore. That they're just so, I don't know. And maybe it's the education system. I don't know, Allah Alam, maybe education system. Right? But they're not reading, I guess. They're not reading. Like human beings are not reading anymore. They don't know how to speak anymore. Right? It's very, very bad in their language. And that makes someone unlovable. If you don't know how to speak properly, you don't know how to speak well. Right? Speak well, use good words, right? Express yourself gently and nicely, right? That is just because I said not to complain does not mean you can't give feedback. Give feedback, but give feedback in a nice way, right? Don't, and then give suggestion, don't just, go and complain. That's really, unpleasant, right? But give feedback if you want to give feedback, really. So if your husband, you have some feedback for your husband, you can, give nice feedback, please him first. And then you say, right, I think, right, maybe, right? And then you say, you give some feedback, right? Maybe, your eating habits, right? It's a bit, you try and go into the area, of trying to advise and trying to give feedback about certain things. Allahu A'lam. And people, and lovable people from unlovable people when you travel with them. When you travel with someone, you can really see, are they lovable or not lovable? Because like all the complaints come out, all the frowning, grumbling, nastiness comes out, and so on and so forth. Subhanallah. And that's my advice, right? So for taking from our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was the most pleasant, the most beautiful in speech, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Let me talk about Sayyidah Khadija a bit. Sayyidah Khadija, the perfect woman, the perfect wife, the perfect everything, Sayyidah Khadija. So first and foremost, she never, we mentioned this before, in the seerah, she never upset her husband ever, right? And it's someone to say, well, he's Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Of course she never upset him. Well, the other wives did. Okay, the other wives did upset him. And they asked him a few times, actually, in Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And in fact, there were times whereby, they would throw a tantrum, like say that Aisha, there was once some had a guest, some guests in her house. And Zayda Salama sent some food, right, for the guests, because Sayyidina Aisha had no food, right, for the guests. So Sayyidina Aisha got so jealous. She was so upset. Like, in a sense, like, whereby you go like, it's my house and they're my guests, and this person, like in our language, was so sibuk, like, so the busybody and sending food over for my guests, like there was the kind of sentiment that was going on. She was so upset and said that Salama sent food over for the guests of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the guests were in her house. You know what she did, Sayyidina Aisha? MashaAllah. She threw the food on the floor and broke all the bowls. Right? She did that. And she was very upset. And she was very upset. She threw the food on the floor. There's a huge crash, outside the room. The guests were in the room, right? And then she threw the food on the floor, and she broke the bowl. She spilled all the food all over the place, right? And Rasul very calmly, he just hit, she's jealous. And she's jealous, and he just laughed it off. He didn't like make a big deal out of it. He just came out, told her to clean up the mess and to buy for Salama a new bowl. That was all he did. That was all he did. Just calmly tell her that. Full stop. She was in the moment. She was upset in the moment. Any natural, right? And then he just advised her, just clean up the mess and then give her back her bowl. Go and get a new bowl for her, or your bowl goes to her, right? That kind of thing. Subhanallah. So anyway, he said that Khadija, right, she never once upset Rasulullah. She would always greet him smiling. Right? She would always, whenever he came and he walked the room, right, she would always greet him smiling. And even though she was 15 years older than Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, 15 years, older than Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, like she would treat him with the utmost respect. Like Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I get very, I don't know, I get very upset whenever I see women like who are younger. I mean, those who are older, yes, you're still supposed to treat your husband with respect. But those who are younger, actually women who are so much younger than their husbands, and completely so incredibly rude to their husbands, that is just unbelievable. Right? They are like 9 years younger, 10 years younger, and so incredibly rude, right, to their husbands, not seeing that first and foremost he's your husband, secondly, he is older than you, right? Just by being older, there should be a respect in the way you speak to him. I don't speak that way. Right? Subhanallah. Right? So Allah Alam, may Allah make us people like Sayyidah Khadija, right? Being like Sayyidah Khadija, right? Cheerful, joyous, not complaining, not negative, and then always smiling, and then using the best words to address each other. And so these traits make you livable, right? As human beings. Tamam. Okay, so we're going to the next part. وَاللَّاتِي تَخَافُونَ. I'm just check all the chat is up here. Okay, mm, actually, I like the question. So let me see. Uh, really, I don't know if it's my name or not. Right, but really, my name does mean happiness, Farhana. I mean, extremely happy. Right. So I mean, it is my name. I know my mom told me that when she named me, she was going through a very difficult time in her life. She had gone through a miscarriage before she gave birth to me. So she was going through she was told me before my mom told me before she was going through a very, very difficult time in her life. Right. So she named me the name that she wanted for me. which was happiness. So alhamdulillah, really happiness. And yeah, it's malam musamma. You show your happiness. And that's why we all know my niece Afra. We give her that name because we want her to be the most happiest, the happiest person. If you've ever met Afra, she's so happy. She's so happy that I give her the name Zahra. I told my brother put Zahra in there, for the barakah. I'll say the Fatima Zahra. Right, so and I would tell her Afra. Afra means the happiest, and then Zahra means shining star. I said the Fatima Zahra is a shining star when she prays in her prayer niche. And then so I said Afra is the happiest shining star. So her name became the happiest shining star. And she loves it. She loves that her name means that. I'm the happiest shining star. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Um, so anyway, yeah, mashallah. So the it's a good question here. Is this file saying, Fulan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us brains, right? So we use our brains to a 7-year-old. Is it acceptable? No, it is not. It is not acceptable. She's 7. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I would say it's not even acceptable for anyone, not even for an adult. I would even say that this kind of statement is acceptable, right? Just advice. Just advice, right? You never find the Prophet ﷺ speaking in this way. Just advice. So what didn't do correctly, just advice. So for example, if someone just, I don't know what a person have done. And maybe they left the food out. Okay, I'm seeing my kids right now. Maybe they left the food out on the table and the cats came and ate it, right? Okay, fine. Then just say to your child, okay, we have cats, right? They're gonna find the food. They're gonna take the food. Next time, you just put it up on the fridge. My kids can come in the fridge anyway, but let's put the fridge somewhere where they can't get it. Right? Where can they not get it? My kids can get to anywhere. Okay, put it in the room and close the door. Okay, they can't get it there. I put it in the microwave or put it in the oven or put it in the I should keep my food in the air fryer. They can't get there. We didn't get anywhere else in my house. Right? So in a sense, you just give the solution to the problem. That's all. You don't have to attack someone's ability, right? It's in the pack, saying that Allah gave us brains, right? Right? Use your brains. And that is an attack, right? And just making someone feel bad about something, and you're not teaching them. You're not teaching them. Is this acceptable if a teacher did that? I would say definitely not. I would not dare use that for my students ever. And I hope I've never done that. I hope I've never done it to my students. Right? I would never dare say to my students, use your brain. Like, don't you have a brain? Then that is abusive. That's actually abusive language. You can't say that to a child or to an adult. All right, just advice. Full stop. This is the way of our Prophet ﷺ. Just advice. Okay. Subhanallah. Um, um, okay. A good question here. Okay, but it's a private question. Someone says, how do you advise someone who does not serve her husband? Her reason is that she's really tired with keeping out the household and taking care of her children, and she's an adult, he can take care of himself. That is true, and it is not her duty to serve him, actually. It is not her duty to serve him, actually. And he can serve himself, right? But, with the intention of making him happy, pleasing him, right? If you don't see it as a burden, not to see it as a burden, right? But to see it as a joy, right? I know when I first got married, I would work the entire day. I used to work a lot in doing tuition. So the entire day. Then I would, especially, and my tuition would begin like from Asr time all the way till 10 p.m. So I'll come home, and I just got married. And I'll come home, and my husband, he's used to having, his mother actually make coffee for him at night. Like, so now I'm married to him. Like, he was expecting me, right, to make coffee for him. Right? And I know initially this young angsty woman, with all her rights, I was like, I'm so tired, just worked the entire day, I came home at 10 p.m. and you can't even make yourself your own coffee, like, in a sense, I would say this kind of stuff, and I did realize that it just made things very bitter. Right? There was no pleasantness about this. He'll be like, yeah, I can make my own coffee, right? And he'll get up and he'll make his own coffee. Then the entire night is just going to be very, awkward, right? This is by something very small, right? And just so I, what's that? Okay, right, and so I just figured out that, you know what, just make a coffee and he's happy, right? And you're livable to him. Just make a coffee. It won't kill you, right? So, yani, I began doing that, and the rest of my marriage, I began doing that. I did that, I'll come home really very tired from school, from work, from teaching, and I'll come home really late, and I'll be like, do you want a sandwich? Are you hungry? Are you, and I will see his face light up. I will actually see his face light up. He knows he can serve himself. He knows it. And they can serve themselves. They can. Right? But you want to earn love, earn it. Right? You can earn the love. Right. So, sometimes he comments and says, I serve the cats more. The cats can't wait. The cats, they just keep meowing, meowing, meowing because they want their food. Right? But in a sense, he can wait. Right? But in a sense, like I do get some comments up till today, right, whereby you serve the kids more, you serve the cats more, yeah, because they can't wait. The children, the kids, and the cats, right? Subhanallah. So anyway, yes, he can take care of himself, yes. But on the point, and it's not your responsibility to serve him at all. Those the hukum is clear. Hukum is clear. It's not your responsibility to serve him. He can take care of himself, but don't you want to be livable? Right? And don't you want to maintain a happy, climate in the house? And also that when you serve him, don't be disgruntled about it. Right? Don't be, sour about it. That is not that you're defeating the entire purpose of doing it. If you happily do it, right? So the Khadija, she happily does it. Right? Compare yourself to her and always compare yourself to her, right? If you want to reach any level. Allah must say Muhammad. Sorry. Like this, inshallah. Okay, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. So Sayyidah Khadija, um, Sayyidah Khadija, and she would climb up the mountain. I mean, you can go on a list of what she would do for Rasulullah that she does not have to do. And she's also handling the finances. Sayyidah Khadija, it's her business, right? She is the boss. It's her finances. Do you find a word of complaint from her mouth, from her blessed mouth? No, not at all. And she serves him all around. There are children in her household, and not even just her children, the children of other people in her household. Subhanallah. If in her own kids, right? Her own kids, okay, she has three from her previous marriages. Then she has six with Rasulullah, of whom two passed away. And then she had Zid bin Thabit, Zid bin Haritha, also in the household. She has Barakah to help her out, yes, but she's a young girl as well in the household. She had as well, Allahumma Sayyidina Muhammad, she had Zubair bin Awam, right, in her household. She has Sayyidina Ali in her household. This is a woman who's taking in so many children into her household and looking after all of them, and her husband's out in the cave, right? And she's handling the finances, she's handling, and if someone would say, you can't compare ourselves to Sayyidah Khadija, then who do you compare yourself to? If not Sayyidah Khadija, how do you improve? Right? So anyway, she was of service, right? Service, no matter how tired she was, right? She's service all the way around, right? Subhanallah. Right? So anyway, aim to be that, inshallah. Number two, this person sent me a private message. And so number two, let's see, how do I get this thing? Okay, according to her, the husband does not lead the family in the akhirah, doesn't fulfill the rights of nafka and so on, causing her to lose respect of him, right? Causing her to be rude to him. You know what? Not respecting another person and being rude to another person just speaks about you. Okay? You can't blame him for bad behavior coming out from you. Right? If you're a good person, no matter how someone is irresponsible and does not fulfill rights, you will not show rudeness to the individual because it does not exist in you. You get, right? So you can't keep blaming him, right? That you know what, you respect a person because you choose to respect a person. That's it. Right? You respect a person because you choose to respect a person. Full stop. Right. So whether or not, on his end, whatever he's failing in, right? If he has to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's his hal. That's his issue with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all guard over our issues with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Allah has placed on us to treat each other well. Right. So you respect him only because he's your husband. Full stop. If he's unable to fulfill your rights, as a wife, then to be a good Muslim, a bigger person, forgive and assist, and for you great reward, or give him ideas on how he can, ask, talk to him about it, speak to him about it, right? Discuss about it, right? And about maintenance and money and so on. Allah Alam, it could be a test in life, maybe it is your test to handle this, right? So you choose to respect, and you choose to respect, and you choose to not be rude, because rudeness is a choice, right? Rudeness is a choice. You choose or you don't choose to be rude. It's basically words that come out of your mouth. That's where rudeness lies, right? It's words. Manners, it boils back down to words, right? What do you choose to say? Right? So how can you continue to be patient with her husband? She needs to change her attitude. She needs to learn more religion. She needs to learn more about Sayyidah Khadija. She needs to learn more, she needs to learn more about the religion, and be more, more of a Muslimah, right? In that as Muslims, we help each other, we forgive each other, we're kind to each other. And if someone says things that this is going to make you, someone that other people abuse and use, so what, right? If they want to abuse you and use you because you're being kind and being nice, for you, all the reward. You have all the reward of that. And inshallah, it makes them better. Inshallah, it makes them better. Right? But if you're going to be harsh about it, you're going to be mean about it, you're going to be rude about it, you're not going to help situation at all. Right? Situation will not be helped at all. You get it, eh? You get it. So of course, it might not help even when you're nice. Yeah, but you get reward for it, right? You get reward for it, right? You see, I'm not gonna make my husband a better person if I'm gonna be nice to him all the time. Well, yeah, but you just you become a nice person. That's nice. That's good, right? Even if he's going to remain in his bad manners, on his bad ways, well, that's his struggle in life. You choose to be a good person and a good Muslim. You choose to be a good human being, and give and give and give, and don't expect, right? And that is the way of who? The way of our Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who gave and gave and gave and never expected. And we say it's not fair. Well, don't you want, more in the hereafter? Like, don't you want more in the hereafter? Right? When you stop comparing with other people, don't you want more? Right? It's a full mindset change. It's a mindset shift. What can I do, like, for others to build my akhirah? I need to build my akhirah. And once you think of things that way, you won't complain about anything. Literally, you won't complain about anything. Right? I know of women, they fully support the household, fully. The entire house is on their account, right? Because and not a word of complaint from their mouths, not a word of complaint. In fact, happiness and joy and full respect and love for their husbands, because their husbands they're having a hard time. The husbands are struggling. The husbands are they're having issues. The husbands having issues. So I know a woman personally, they are fully supporting the household, right? And they will just say that we are walking the way of Sayyidah Khadija. They were walking the path of Sayyidah Khadija. We want to support our whole household. SubhanAllah. And at the same time, they have the full respect for their husbands, right? Because why? That just shows good character. If you have good character, that's how you're gonna be, right? Subhanallah. I hope it's not son. Right. So again, someone asked a question, will that, or if that leads to resentment, again, resentment is a choice. You get it? You are choosing to be resentful. You get it? Right. So if you have to keep serving your husband and you're gonna resent it, you're gonna lose out on rewards, by the way. Because you're not doing this ikhlas. Right. So you're gonna lose out on rewards. You will just bring yourself down. Like, you're hurting yourself by resenting that I have to respect him and I have to be kind to him and I have to serve him and I have to like why all this negativity, or woman? And just be happy about it. Alhamdulillah. Right? Like, why? So resentment is you. You are choosing it and you're harboring that. is you, right? So when resentment comes to your heart, right, and there should not be any resentment or hikad, it's called hikad in Arabic, right, between Muslims. Your husband is a Muslim, right? There should not be any resentment. So if you came home from work, you're so tired, whatever, and he says to you, "Make me a coffee, please, or get me some dinner," right? And then you go, maybe in your heart it goes, I just came back, I'm so tired. Like you need to counter that that's going on in your heart. You need to go and say, "Okay, Alhamdulillah, 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 Alhamdulillah. Okay, Bismillah. Okay, inshallah, more reward, inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cause this to be a means for my sins being forgiven. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cause this to bring happiness and light to our household, to our family. Maybe inshallah, in me doing this, our children will grow up very well and righteous, inshallah." You reprogram yourself. You do that to yourself. And after a while, it becomes a habit, right? It's basically habitual. Resentment is habitual, positivity is habitual. They're all habitual, right? You just got to make yourself habitually positive, right? Subhanallah, right? And then do it happily. Make some nice coffee. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice tea, and then go there and go and have a nice time with your husband. Have a nice time with your family, with your children. Bring some cookies or whatsoever, and just be happy. In that way. Why are you gonna be resentful, right? So basically, it is a choice. Right? To be resentful is a choice, right? A choice. Tamam. Right, so another question, many questions, mashallah. Any tips on how to continue to be sabr, right? To have patience with narcissistic husbands? Any dua that you can praise your husband's heart? Okay, tamam. If your husband is a narcissist, right, for you to first and foremost not see that. I'm serious. I'm serious. Don't see that. Don't see that he is a narcissistic person, right? It's shaitan who's putting it's a su'udhan, by the way. It's a su'udhan. Think about it. I don't know, in my life, right, I've not met a single person that I thought was narcissistic. I've not met a single person that I would think is a narcissist. I don't know. Because I would think to say that, because narcissism is basically something called riya or ujub, right? Ujub would be the disease of narcissist, I think. Narcissist means what? Means someone who is like all about themselves, right? I mean, all self-obsessed, right? A self what? Self-obsessed person, right? Individual. And the ujub, in Arabic, be ujub. That is a major sin. That is a major sin in Islam, right? To be self-obsessed, right? In that way, to be amazed by the self and self-obsessed, right? Only self-centered, that will be the word, self-centered, right? That'll be selfish. So all sins in Islam, right? So first and foremost, do not see that, because to see that, it means you're having a su'udhan, you're having a bad opinion, right, on him, right? But give other reasons and excuses as how you should do with every Muslim, not just your husband. Every Muslim. It's really training. It's really training of the heart, right? Of just maintaining a good opinion of everyone around you, right? And seeing positivity in everybody around you, right? This gives you a happy life. It really does. It really does. You can learn to do this, right? And it's a very good tool, very good habit to have, right? If you have dua to help soften your husband's heart, um, and again, I don't know what the issues here with regards to what you consider to be hard from him. Right? Maybe for him it is just his protectiveness or his way or his they have their ways, right? They have their ways, right? If they're not allowing you to do certain things, right? They have their reasons, right? But anyway, if you want to have a dua to soften someone's heart, to advise, for example, then hold on, make my cat. Okay, sure. Okay, Bismillah. Right. Okay, Allah. Kucing. Okay, so then, you can recite the first 10 verses of Surah Taha. These are the verses that were recited when Sayyidina Umar, I came in with a very, very bad intention to kill Rasulullah Islam, right? And then he heard this ayats being recited, and these ayats softens his heart, right, to Islam. Right, the first 10 ayats of Surah Taha, and then the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, Ya Mutakabbir. Okay, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, Ya Mutakabbir. It would, in a sense, subdue someone who's an oppressor. So it is on anyone who's oppressing you. You go, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, Ya Mutakabbir. You do it 100 times a day. And the very strongness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, right, it will assist, right? And again, Allah be our judge. Allah be our judge. Because it could be your point of view, right? And it could, and Allah knows the truth. Right? So even for myself personally in my marriage, I sometimes might feel something is unfair. But I'll say to myself, it's your point of view. It's my point of view. I think it was unfair. Or it's not right. Or I think it's my point of view. I might be wrong, right? I might be wrong. Okay. So Allah, yeah, Allah, you handle and you decide what is best for our family. Right? Subhanallah. Right. So mashallah. So if Allah give us strength, let's say the Khadija, right? So just remember that, okay? Remember that. Even as women, right, to live life, we look at your husband and look at your husband, right? And to understand that he's a fellow Muslim who deserves a good fulfillment of, our promise. Okay, I'm going to continue with the verses here. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the same thing in his words, وَاللَّاتِي تَخَافُونَ, right? And those whom you fear, نُشُوزَهُنَّ, the ill conduct from your women. Okay, we're going to define what is nashus, right? So it's nushuz and nashuz. Right? Unfortunately, in our zaman, right, people no longer know the definition of nahuda. They no longer know what is a woman who is nashuda or has committed nushuz. And nushuz basically means disobedience. Disobedience on the rights of the husband. Okay, disobedience on the rights of the husband. So, for example, the husband has a right, that you be home. People to be home, he has a right that you be home. Right? He has a right for the his about right? He has a right that you do not misappropriate his wealth, right? But the amana, if he actually work with you, then he has a right, right, that you do not misuse his wealth in a way that would displease him, right? And he has a right, right, that you be kind to him and kind to his children, whether or not they are yours. Okay, like he has a right, that if he married you and he already has children, he has a right that you be kind to his children, and also that he is kind to your children. كثير الصبر Salama. I remember he mentioned Salama and she had children, and he said to her that your children are mine. And he treated them as if they were his own children. When he also married to Khadija, said that Khadija also had children with, right? And Rasul had many stepchildren, right? Of his wives, right? And he would treat them well. Now, right? So if you sense, and this is for the men and for the women, if they sense, so for women, I think yourself not, have ill conduct, do not disobey, do not, be rude, do not disrespectful, right? Towards your husbands, right? So to do, this comment. Oops. Allah. So, get can you hear me? Bismillah, bismillah, bismillah. Can you hear? Bismillah. Thank you. Okay, alhamdulillah, bismillah. Tamam. Right. So on him to advise her, advise her or send someone who can advise her, right? Swimming to their husbands. So if it manifests from them, disobedience, فَعِذُوهُنَّ. So meaning warn them about Allah's punishment. For example, have fear of Allah and beware of him, beware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do have a right that you obey my instructions. So repent from what you have done and know that it is compulsory on for you to obey me in regards to his rights. I said it's compulsory to obey me in regards to his rights. However, if she's not affected by this warning and continues in all her disobedient ways, like women who walk out of the house, women who walk out of the house and they don't have the husband's permission before they leave the house. And subhanAllah, I know so many women who do this. And when they're upset, they're angry with their husbands, they walk out of the house. Right? You don't have permission. You don't have permission, you can't do that. Right? SubhanAllah, and they leave their houses and they go for majalis. Like the women who do that, leave their houses and they go for majalis the entire time, right? The entire time you're in disobedience. The entire time you're in disobedience. And even women, because even women who leave their houses and they go and travel, right, without their husband's permission, they are called Asiya fi safar. Right? They call Asiya fi safar. What is Asiya fi safar? Right? Or bis safar, afan bis safar. Basically, she is sinful in her traveling. Her traveling itself is sinful, right? And this kind of person, right, if she's still married to her husband, he has not given her divorce, right, she's still married to her husband, and he does not give any permission, right, for her to go and travel, and she travel anyway, right, she's not allowed to take the rulings of Jama'ah and Qasr. She's not allowed, right, because she's a sinner, right, in her traveling. The entire time she's traveling, she's a sinner, right, and so she's not allowed to take any of the rukhsa of religion, not allowed to take any of the leeways, of the religion. I like Jama' and Qasr. She cannot. And so I know of women, I know of women, specifically of women, right, who they basically walk out of their husband's houses. Right? They don't return to their husband's houses. They are not divorced, they're still married, and they still travel around, they still go around, they still do whatever they want to do, right? All against permission. So the entire time cursed, the entire time cursed in disobedience. And if they are traveling, the Jama and the Qasr, the prayers are all not counted. All not counted. Right? SubhanAllah. And that is because why? They are influenced by the feminist movement that just to think that they can do all these things, so they can't. They can't. Right? And their husbands actually have the right over them. Allah subhanallah. I'm such a very careful woman, right? If he says no, right, to you going out, don't argue. Just stay home, right? And mashallah, I'm learning this right now after 11 years of being married, right? Not to ask even. Right. So like in the sense that if I know his preference, and after 11 years of being married, I should know right now what his preferences are. You know, if you still don't know after 11 years of marriage, you're quite a terrible wife. So like, but and I should know by now what his answer would be, right, and what his preference would be, right? So it's on me to not even ask. And so nowadays I don't even ask. I just do. I know that he would prefer. I just do it, even though I don't want to do it. I want to go out. Right now, I can tell you, for example, like in Tarim, so many majalis all over in Tarim. But I know his preference. He just wants me around him. He likes me around him. Alhamdulillah, I should be happy about it. He likes me around him. Right. So I don't actually go to majalis. I don't actually go to majalis. Here in Tarim, even though in the past when I was here 10 years ago, I used to go for every majlis. Like Friday morning, I won't be at home. I'll be at the Burda Dar Zahra. I'll be at the Burda, every Tuesday night, I'll be at the Maulid, every Tuesday evening, I'll be at the Hadra, and so like, I would go for every majlis in Tarim when I was here 10 years ago. But now after 10 years of marriage, like it's like I know his preference. He wants me home, right? Because I'm out a lot teaching anyway, right? So if I don't have to teach, stay home. So I mean, it's on you as wise, just be happy about it, and I'm happy about it. I'm not complaining. I'm happy about it. Right. So, but in a sense, it's a mindset shift. Okay, it's a mindset shift, right? To want to please the people around you, right? And if we're in a zaman where people are like, oh, you're such a people pleaser. There are certain people in your life that you should try to be pleasing to them, and these include your husbands and your parents, right? You try your very best to be pleasing to these people, right? On all that you can. Right? So, however, she is not affected by this warning and continues in disobedient ways. This is specifically on a woman who is disobedient with regards to his rights. So, for example, in this case, would be someone who is like the one I can think of that is it's the biggest problem is the one is basically leaving the house and how you're dressed. Right. So if the husband says to her, don't put on makeup, and he's saying in the Sharia, okay, he's not commanding you against the Sharia. Sharia is top. Indeed, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his prophet is top. is first and foremost, right? And then obedience to parents and husband, or husband first and then parents for women, for men, parents first the parents first, and then there's no obedience to wife actually for husbands, right? But he has to treat them well. Okay, but there is no obedience to wife for husband. Right, just treats them well, treats them well. He has a responsibility over them, and he is questioned on how he treats them. Right? I mean, basically, Allah is above everything. Right? So in the Quran, you find it over and over again. Allah knows, Allah sees, Allah is aware. Don't think anything that is of injustice that happens in this world, it would just disappear like that. No, Allah will call it to account the day of judgment. Come on. Okay, so if she continues, so for example, if a woman, very stubbornly leaves the house, a woman very stubbornly, dresses in a way that is attractive, and she goes out of the house. A woman very stubbornly, you know, um, neglects, her children and in the home. And these are people who do exist. I've met them. If she continues doing that, and the husband says, well, you know what, don't leave the house. You know what, don't dress in that way. It's very attractive. Like, don't, and he says these things to her. Like, you're being very attractive. You're putting on too much makeup. You're dressing up in a way that is, not shari'i. It's not part of Sharia. If you advise her in this way, and she says, no, what, it's my body, it's my face, it's my life. I do whatever I want to do. Then why do you get married, right? Again. I mean, if you don't want to do what you want to do, don't get married. Like, if you want to be tied down, get married. Right? Marriage is settling down, and it is raising children, and it is a very high and noble thing, right, to do. Right? Subhanallah. Right. So really, really, subhanallah. Right. So anyway, and this happened like the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, whereby for his wives, whereby some of them asked for more nafka. They asked for more allowance from Rasulullah, and this upset him because he is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of his wealth goes to community, right, goes to the poor. Right. So when his wives asked for more nafka, for more allowance, Allah revealed the verse. Tell your wives, O Prophet, if they want, the dunya, or if they want Allah and His Prophet, right? Allah and His Prophet. But if they want the dunya, let me see, if they want more nafka, they want the dunya, then let them go. And they're free to go. They are free to go. Meaning divorce them. And they are free to go if they want this. Right? SubhanAllah. And really, sometimes I see some women, like, they insist so on what they want. They just insist on their husbands. This is how you become unlovable. Like this, okay? And I know a person, like, she really wanted a $500 dress, jubba. $500. I don't think I've ever spent more than 100 on any dress, even my wedding dress. And not even, I don't think I've gotten more than 50 on any clothing that I own. But she was so insisting, and she was crying, getting him to buy her this $500 dress. SubhanAllah. This is how you become unlivable, right, to people. And anyway, as when the matter of the ifk, the ifk that happens. The ifk is basically the slander of Sayyidina Aisha. It is the entire matter, the issue of the slander on Sayyidina Aisha. That she was slandered to commit adultery, right? She was completely innocent. But Rasulullah, it was a month whereby there was no revelation, no wahyu, right? And Rasul didn't know, what to do because he was waiting for wahyu, right? And he went around to the companions asking their advice. And Sayyidina Ali said, Rasulullah, if if you're not pleased with her, Sayyidina Aisha, then there are many women around. Get another one, right? And this is Sayyidina Ali said that, it's like, this is just, there are many fish in the sea, right? So he actually said this, Sayyidina Ali. Sayyidina Aisha got upset, he was saying that, like, how to say that? Come on, like, but Sayyidina Ali is being practical. If someone's being very difficult, find someone else, right? Full stop. And as wives, really, play your cards well. You're not indispensable. his mother is indispensable. Yes, she is. Right? The mother is indispensable, right? But the wife is not. Right? The wife is not. There are many women out there, right? And much better women. And I know, for myself, I know there are many women who are much better than me in righteousness, in beauty, in everything. Much better women than me, right? Subhanallah. So don't think that you're indispensable in any way. Don't try and push your way. Don't try and force your way. And the more foul you are, the more you lose love, right, onto yourself. Subhanallah. Right? But the mother is not indispensable. The mother is indispensable. Right? The mother. What is going on? Subhanallah. Right. So Allah. What's going on? Yeah, my let's see there. What's she doing? Okay. Yes. Okay. Right. Yeah, mashallah. Okay, so just basically, Allahumma salli Muhammad. Now, right, obey them. Right, obey them. Right, keep the household happy. Right, keep the household happy. Okay, so inshallah, we just answer some questions here before we close our class. Some comments or answer or questions here. So many questions now. Okay, let's see. Question here. The wife doesn't always saying, okay, go, and always agreeing, and sincerely also. And if you feel bad, then don't go lah. And you know what? I think some husbands, they are sincere. They're not like disgruntled about it. They're not unhappy about it. They are okay. You want to go much this, but you know what they like. You know what they prefer, right? Like, I know my husband, that day I did ask, because I didn't want to let it go. But the result was to be a Maulid in the morning, and I really want to go to the Maulid. And I know he's home. And I was like, can I go for half an hour? And I know he will say yes. He'll confirm say yes. He will never say no to me. And in fact, whenever I go out, he knows he's no. But, no, I know I pushed it. But we know what they prefer. We know what they prefer. It's on us to do what they prefer. Okay? So if you feel bad about it, it means you know what he prefers, right? So those who are affected by domestic violence, is it allowed them to leave the house? Yes. Right. So for those who are physically individuals, right? Your body is your right. Right? To protecting. So the Sharia protects life, protects dignity, protects body, right? Protects your physical self, protects your religion and your wealth. So if any of these 5 things are being threatened, right? You have a right against anybody in this world, right, to protect this. Right, for yourself. Okay. Right. So of course, if you're being harmed in any of these 5 things, so what are 5 things? Your life, your physical body, your honor, dignity, right, your wealth, right, and your religion. Right. So these 5 things that you have a right to protect no matter everywhere you go. And the Sharia serves to protect these 5 things. Right. So if any of them, these 5 things are being compromised or being, threatened, right, then you need to get yourself into a safe place. Okay. But if it's merely an argument, right? What I was referring to is an argument. It's merely an argument. And you walk out of the house, or he does not give you something that you want, which I've seen happen, right? Him not giving the wife what she wants, right? And if she walks out of the house like a child, like a spoiled child, spoiled brat, and leave the house in that way, and then that is impermissible, right? But if there's real danger going on, then she can leave. She can really go. I just had a question. Someone asked me a question on like her husband likes to take videos of her, and this completely haram. Like videos of her in doing things that are very lewd, right? And she asked me the question, and I was like, she just obey. Of course not. Of course, come on, use your common sense, woman. Use your common sense. Right? If your husband is misappropriating your wealth, if your husband is hurting you physically, if your husband is degrading you in that way, right? That you become so, humiliated in that way. He's taking videos of you in a very lewd manner and posting it. He's just posting it on some platform. I don't know what she was talking about, right? But when there is a platform whereby they don't show the face, but this is a body down, the neck down, and they do it. And some men have some form of sick, fetish about this. Don't, of course, common sense, come on, right? Common sense. Don't, right? Don't think that, oh, I have to be obedient to him. This is where, this is people going into two extremes. There are those who don't obey at all, and there are those who obey on every single thing that's even harmful on themselves. Doesn't make sense. Right? Come on, you have common sense. Right? If he is threatening your wealth, your health, your life, your body, your religion, your dignity, then don't. Obviously. Right? Obviously. Isn't it obvious? Subhanallah. Right? Use common sense. Right? And if they say, oh, you're going to be obedient to me. No, I have a right to protect my dignity. Right? You making me dress in this way, or you making me do all these acts and videoing me, I don't like it. It's against my muru'ah, my dignity. Subhanallah. So, as a wife, if you always say, don't worry about the monetary nafkah to the husband as we both work, does it mean complacent? No, it's okay. You can say it to him. You say, no, it's okay. We're both working. It's okay. Right? And it's just, especially if you intend to make it lighter on him and make it easier on him, and there's a form of charity on yourself. Right? Now, and accept whatever nafkah they can give now. And I know women who don't get nafkah, and they are happy with that. It's okay. It's really okay. If you're a woman who really, and the wives of Rasulullah hardly get anything from him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they're happy. They're happy being married to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's okay. You don't actually have to get nafkah. It's his duty, yes. But if you're okay not getting it, khalas. And in fact, what is nafkah? Nafkah is roof over your head and food on your plate, right? That's it. And clothing on your body. That is nafkah, not an allowance, by the way. Women think we need to get an allowance. No, allowance not nafkah. If he fully supports you, roof on your head, clothing on your back, food on your plate, khalas, he has done his job. And that is his job, basically. Right? To pay for your needs, basically. Right? So the money in hand is not a wajib. There's no wajib money in hand. Right? And even if let's say you're the one paying for the roof over the head, and you're the one paying for the food on the plate, and you're the one paying for the clothing on your back, right? Good for you. Right? Good for you. You're helping out your husband. Good for you. So and also there's this we went through this hadith in the beginning of the book about Sayyidina Zainab, the wife of Sayyidina Ibn Mas'ud, right, where Rasul said the woman, for women, your charity, for I see most of you in the hellfire. Right, and then so they all went back and they got their property out to give out in charity. And then she came to Rasul and said, Ya Rasulullah, I was about to give my jewelry in charity when Ibn Mas'ud, my husband, says to me that he and my children are more deserving of my charity than anybody else. Is that true? And Rasul said that yes, she is right. Your husband and your children are more deserving of your charity than anybody else, because they are the right family. And from this hadith, we find that yes, if a woman sees the husband is in need of help, of financially, she can give from her wealth to help him out. Right? If she's doing this regularly, then it becomes regular charity on her side. Right? It becomes regular charity, daily charity. Who doesn't want that? Daily charity by supporting your own family. It's fine. And again, Sayyidina Salama as well, in one of those narrations, she said, Ya Rasulullah, do I get rewarded if I look after Abu Salama's children, right? After his death, and I would not even, abandon them because they are my kids too. Why would I abandon them? Because they are my kids too. But she was asking me, she get reward for it because it's his children. It says because these are his children, and the children go to the father. And she was asking, do I get reward? And he said, yes. She said, yes, of course you get reward. And she said, but even if I won't, abandon them in the first place, I'm doing it because they are my children, right? Of course you get reward, right? And the reward of charity is charity, subhanAllah. Right. So another one, last thing here. Anything happens is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala test us, and for us to be patient and be strong and be cheerful and happy and positive about it, right? And Allah tests us because He wants to raise our level. Yep. And you choose. You see, when Allah tests you, you choose to disgrace yourself, or you choose to raise your level. It's your choice. It's your choice. Right? That's how you know whether a test is a punishment or its test is to, raise you. You choose, basically. You choose. So if you're going to fail the test, it becomes a punishment. If you're going to pass the test, then it becomes a form of elevation. And you choose whether it's going to be a form of elevation or a form of disgracement um, on you. Okay, inshallah. So start for today. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.